So I think in the next 1 minute, we'll start the session. Before
Okay.
that, I would like to give you a brief introduction on the, if you can see this is Mr. Ibrahim Hassan Murad. He is the president of UMT, and he's like
Okay.
a young dynamic force with strong leadership skills, and he is actually now running UMT. His father
Okay.
incidentally died in a car accident. He was a great
Uh-huh.
guy, and we are all great admirers of him, our mentor and our. But after that, his son has taken over. He is here,
Okay.
and
Okay.
mashallah, mashallah, he's doing a great job in driving this huge. UMT is a huge monster. If you ask me, we are offering 150 degrees, including life sciences and everything. What we
Okay.
don't have is MBBS. Everything else is there. So it's not
And
a.
how old is the institution?
It's
I
27 years old. We
Okay.
started off as ILM, and
I remember ILM.
yeah,
Okay.
Institute of Leadership and Management.
Yes.
Then
Yes.
it reshaped into University of Management and Technology. We got our
Okay.
charter, and
Okay.
uske baad we started off. We have, mashallah, beautiful campus sprawling over about 200 odd canals, and then we
Okay.
have two campuses in Islamabad, sorry, Sialkot, and one more
Wonderful.
campus in Lahore. Uh,
Okay.
and our ambitions are great. Our dreams are big. We want to really hit the heights, and we are pushing.
Mhm.
And whatever effort is required, team is ready and very passionate about it. Just to
Okay.
add to it, you have a great fan following at UMT. Probably you're not aware.
I don't know what I've done to deserve it, but I appreciate it.
So the Sarek Bal Khan is our chief disruption officer in our think tank ICDF, which we have created for innovation development. It's a think tank
Okay.
and Innovation Capital Development Forum. Here we are trying to put together government, industry, academia, and students together to come out with research and thoughts of consequence. Normally, there's a lot of research and a lot of thoughts
Yeah.
of no consequence. So we are trying to give a direction, and we would like to have a lot of takeaways from this session also. So I will now ask Ms. Sarek Bal Khan to initiate the session formally so that we move on. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Khalid.
Peace and blessings, everyone. This is me, Saira Iqbal Khan, Chief Disruption Officer at Innovation Capital Development Forum, ICDF, UMT Think Tank. I welcome you all to Future Leaders with Business Leaders series under the umbrella of same initiative of ICDF, UMT Think Tank, which is brought to you by Office of Corporate Linkages and Placements. Well, as we all know that in today's digital age, the future workforce is going to be replaced by the future leaders. I mean, the Gen Zers and millennials who are studying and as well as graduating from the universities, and they look up to certain personalities as their true inspiration. Likewise, there are a lot of emerging entrepreneurs who look up to certain personalities as their mentors. And then there are a lot of aspiring individuals and professionals like me who look up to certain personalities as their true role models. So we thought that we need to create a platform whereby all of these stakeholders can actually get to know each other better, can learn from each other, and can take some food for thoughts. So before we get into a really introspective and informative chit-chat discussion with a person who knows it all and has it all in him, I would like to introduce and welcome my co-host for today, Mr. Khalid Naki. Khalid Naki is a corporate Olympics champion and an experienced enterprise management professional, having over 30 years diversified international experience in multiple industries and various asset classes in different continents of the world. He's an entrepreneurial executive with sound exposure of managing and structuring companies and projects, and also steering investor interest through prudent and proactive management practices. Because of his deep desire and passion for transforming and taking Pakistan from factor-driven to innovation-driven idea economy, currently he is leading a think tank at UMT called Innovation Capital Development Forum, ICDF, as Chief Transformation Officer, whereby he is trying to challenge convention and to create enlightened and competitive champions of innovation through this initiative of national interest. Apart from this, he's also managing and running 4 different divisions at UMT as director, including Office of Corporate Linkages and Placements. Welcome on board, Khalid Saab, and I really want to share this thing today that I'm extremely excited for this interview because if you remember, like 18 months ago, we tried to approach the same personality under the same initiative of ICDF, whereby we tried to bring him on board. And today, finally in 2020, we got this opportunity to interview him and to learn from him. So I'm really looking forward to this interview. So before getting into, a kind of insightful discussion with the person who is no doubt an epitome of imagination, creativity, and humility on its way to be the first unicorn of Pakistan, I would like to give a brief introduction about the company to whom he represents as Chief Executive Officer. The leading IT firm of Pakistan with core focus on global payments processing. Yes, I am talking about i2c Incorporated. So i2c was originally founded as a Silicon Valley initiative in 2001, and soon it emerged as a leading IT software firm of Pakistan with core focus on global payments processing industry. i2c in its growth path has added 2 more Canadian entities and has emerged as a formidable company with global presence, serving clients in all time zones. It has cardholders in 216 different countries and territories, all 29 time zones. It also has applications deployed in 17 different languages, including Chinese and Japanese, which are slightly more complex. So it's a pure and a totally global company with 1,000+ people. In addition to this, i2c is also working with card associations like Visa, MasterCard, American Express, Discover, and UnionPay. And I hope that by the end of this interview, all of us will be able to learn how to incubate a real winning shot. So finally, the moment of truth has come, and I am extremely honored and excited to introduce the founder and CEO of i2c Incorporated, Amir Wain. Amir Wain is a graduate from University of Texas with double degree in computer science and engineering. Amir's entrepreneurial run started in 1987 with a company he founded called UMT Proudly Limited, whereby he led the global launch of transaction processing platform FastCash. Propelled by the success of Innovative, Amir founded i2c Incorporated in 2001, whereby he brought the next generation processing solutions for the payment industry. Contributing to the company's expansive growth curve under Amir's orchestration, i2c has launched multiple industry firsts, including card-linked offers, event-driven card associations, and gift cards voice personalization. In today's highly competitive and VUCA world, whereby opportunities for payments and emerging commerce are continuing to increase at a dramatic rate, and whereby consumers want choices, Amir's vision is to build flexible solutions that consumers seek in an increasingly mobile and global world. I request you all to welcome the true pride of Pakistan, challenging the global rhinos with his agility and drive, none other than Amir Wain. Hi Amir, thank you for joining us and creating time to talk to us. Tell us, how are you doing? What are you up to, and how things are going on during this COVID scenario?
Thank you, Sarah, for a wonderful introduction. I don't know if I deserve everything you've said, but very appreciative. And then Khalid, I must acknowledge the wonderful work that you're doing. I think the initiative of innovation capital development is so important because, we've moved on from the world where the low cost labor in the textile mill would help us become industrial power. We really moved on to an information age, and it's about intellect and so on. And so the framework of innovation, how to think about things differently and so on, is so important. So I'm really, really appreciative of the work you're doing. The integration with the industry is also very important because it's a union of various stakeholders. Academia has an extremely important role. We can't live without the academia. but we also provide, you know, good place for academia to really have their talent deployed and turn it into real life product. So it's a great initiative overall. I thank you very much for inviting me to this forum, and it's my pleasure to be here. And I am really looking forward to having a conversation with the two of you and the rest of the attendees. So,
No, actually, it's my pleasure to learn from you through this interview. And like a lot of other professionals, I also look up to you as a mentor, as a thoroughbred professional, a man with a substance, vision, and conviction to emerge as a leader in such a complicated industry. And to go global is definitely not a smaller thing to do. And you know, I have been listening to all the insights you have been sharing your interviews. And in one of your previous interviews, you shared a very interesting statement about I2C, that we are big enough to matter and small enough to care. So would you like to shed some light on this thought line for my and as well as, you know, the understanding of the general audience?
sure. So in our business, you know, we are the core system for a financial institution. And by financial institution, I mean a bank. And in today's world, many non-banking companies are offering financial services product like EasyPaisa, the Jazz Cash, and so on. While they, you know, in Pakistan, they've bought banks. These companies are called fintechs globally, and there are many different companies. The thing about financial services is that it's such an important product that you can't have it go down. It has to be secure. Think about if your bank was not secure and cyber attacks could come in and you know, change the balance and so on. So that's a problem. The system needs to be available all the time. You're trying to put petrol in your car and your card is not working, right? So there are many, many requirements on the system. And we can't shut down the system on Friday or Saturday or Sunday. Oh, well, we'll come back to the office Monday. People are using payments and making payments all the time. So it's a business which I would call an infrastructure business. And when you have an infrastructure business, you need to be of a certain size. You can't be 5 people, 10 people, and be a reliable infrastructure provider. I mean, there are many, many opportunities for people who are 1, 2 individuals. They can do games, they can do other applications which are not maybe mission critical or are not in the infrastructure space. So the business I2C is in, you need to be of a certain size to be viable and successful, right? That's what I mean by being big enough to matter. If you are 200-300 people, you will not be a viable infrastructure player. The problem with becoming big is that as you become big, you become, you know, very bureaucratic. You become sort of stuck in your own processes. You are not responding to your customer needs, you know, as in a responsive manner that you should. So being small enough means that we are still trying to stay agile. We're still trying to stay connected to our customers. We still care about them. We listen to them. And this is like having your cake and eating it too, right? So it's not a trade-off that as you become big, you're going to become bureaucratic and more, you know, lethargic and so on. So for us, it was how do we become big, but still maintain the qualities that exist in a small, agile, caring company. And really, that's what we have done. We are 1,300 people today, which, you know, compared to other companies that exist in our industry is a relatively small number. Most of our competitors are tens of billions of dollars in revenue and approaching hundreds of billions in market cap. So I2C is the next generation player in that industry. And people are liking our flexibility and the care aspect.
Well, thank you for explaining this entire thought line in such a detail, and I'm sure that audience along with me will be having no more better and deeper understanding about I2C, its culture, its vision, you know, its outlook, and as well as values. So moving forward, I would like to hand over this forum to Khalid Saab, and he will take it from there.
Thank you.
Khalid, I just wanted to say I was very impressed by the amount of research Saira had done and the things
Yeah.
she had looked up. So good job, Saira. That was very well done.
You know, I always call her your
Thank you.
ambassador of I2C in UMT, all right?
Okay.
And
Okay.
maybe there's some espionage operation going on which we are not
Oh,
aware
okay.
of, because
Okay.
cyber security, we have to get it checked.
We have to do an audit. Yes. Yes.
Yes. Amir, thank you very much. And I think you have actually summarized a lot of confusion which were there in my mind, you know. And we were all thinking that to be big is probably out of fashion now. The new vogue is going towards smaller, more efficient, faster. And then we had our own concerns, which I will discuss later in the interview.
Hmm?
So before I proceed, I would like to set a baseline. Where do
Hmm?
I2C stand is for the understanding of a common audience, which will be
Hmm?
having, inshallah. Where do I2C stand vis-a-vis Systems Limited, NetSol, and TRG in Pakistan? There are three big brands, very well known. People know their names. I2C is I would say a hidden giant. You know, people are not really. You are keeping a very
Yeah.
modest, humble profile. So where do you position yourself vis-a-vis these three companies so that we build our case from here now?
Sure. I think one of the things which is part of the I2C culture and so on is we are very focused on substance. We don't like to just kind of talk and talk and talk. We're very substance focused. And maybe we should do a little bit more on the marketing side. Come to think of it, that's just how the world is. But we think good work will do the marketing for you and build your brand. So all three names that you mentioned are good names, and they are doing good job in the industry, providing employment and doing work. Where I see I2C differently is few things. So number one, just from a fact perspective, last year I2C made more profit than all three of those companies combined,
Excellent.
right? So
Excellent.
when you have a real business, the business has to. It's not just about money. It's not money never motivates true entrepreneurs, but it is a scorecard and it is an indication of the health of the business and the strength of the business model. The second difference I would say between I2C and these companies, throughout the 20 years of I2C, we've had continuous growth. We have never laid off people. We've never had decline. We've always had a steady growth. So the ups and downs, today we're going to hire people, tomorrow we're going to fire people, business is up and down. That has never happened with I2C. And we've followed a very solid path going all the way. Third thing, I think, which is the reason for these first two reasons that I mentioned, is I2C's business model. We were the first SaaS company, software as a service company out of Pakistan. We launched in 2001 as a SaaS company. And I'll tell you why. I mean, Innovative, the first company, we started out doing custom software development. We did work for the Auditor General. We did work for State Bank of Pakistan, for Ministry of Finance, but we were writing custom code. And very soon we realized that we are basically uh, doing a daily labor type of work. We get paid for our hours. If we get sick, we don't spend time, we don't get paid. Right? So it was really daily wage in a more sophisticated work rather than construction industry.
All right.
That's what it was. So we said, okay, how do you scale this? And let's say you get a big project, you hire 300 people, then you don't get the next project. What do you do? This isn't a good business model. So we said, okay, what have we learned? Well, we have learned about financial systems. We've learned about reliability, security. What should we do? Well, we should build a product. So we built Fast Cash that Sarah talked about, which drove ATMs and so on. And we started selling internationally. We participated in CeBIT, which used to be in Germany, and got clients in Lithuania, Jordan, etc. That's where Fast Cash started it its export business. Then we learned fairly quickly that product is good. Every time we would sell, we would get larger license revenue and then smaller maintenance revenue in the later years. But every year we had to go sign new clients to grow or to even maintain the last year's number. If I sign 5 clients for licenses, I don't sign 5 clients next year, my sales going to go down, right? Unless my maintenance pipeline has built so much that, and the second problem with that model is that your software is installed on customer premises. So for a software system to run, there are 15 other components that come into play. The power at the client, right? The hardware that they're using, the drivers that they have installed, the Ethernet board, the database server. And many times the customer experience is not good because of problems on their side. And you get to kind of, figure that out and support that. And so we said, okay, well, that's also not a very good thing. What should we do? And then, SaaS at that time, even in the enterprise level, wasn't really, even in the US, wasn't very popular. So we said, why don't we put it all in, our data center managed by us and offer it as a subscription service to the customers. The benefit of subscription services that I have 10 clients who pay me monthly on a per account basis, right? Now, if next year I don't even sign a single new client, I will continue to get the revenue. And by the way, if my customer had 10 accounts and now have 11 accounts, I am automatically growing without having to sign a new customer. Because my pricing is not fixed pricing per year. It's based on per account. Right? So when you think about business and students who are thinking about this, I think even if you don't plan to do a business, it's important to understand how does your work get utilized. So when you are thinking about systems, you understand how they will be used, what's the financial impact, and so on. So I think we were way ahead of the rest of the businesses in Pakistan in terms of our business model. And going to SaaS was the best thing we could do. We had tremendous growth. We had stability in our revenue, and our revenue per person is the highest also in the country. And the reason for that is because it's all IP based, right? Our installation and implementation doesn't take 4 to 6 months or a year. If you look at some of these other project companies, their projects run for years. Our installation, provisioning of a new client within our data centers can be done, literally within a month, and our revenue starts. So I think from the company's strength, stability purposes, our business model really separates us from the others. Now, as far as another thing I'll mention, which is different and which is very important to your students. And this was my biggest challenge when I started the business. There are 2 things that I had to work on. How do I make the team believe that we can be the best in the world? हमारे कुछ थोड़ी सी एक ये मेंटालिटी है कि गोरा जो है ना वो हमसे ज़्यादा बेहतर काम कर सकता है. And probably because of them being in the subcontinent for a long time and they've just kind of left that mark. Making people believe that we can do better job. Microsoft ने सॉफ्टवेयर बनाया हम उससे बेहतर बना सकते हैं. Just that belief was extremely, extremely important. If we were going to compete in the most competitive market in the world, we started out in the US, which is a competitive market. We are competing in a highly, highly consolidated, very difficult industry. Unless my team believes that we're going to go do job which is better than anyone else in the world, I can't compete. So that was one thing. How do you make your team believe that? So that's part of the i2c culture. Anyone who comes in, they know that what we are doing, we're not taking instructions or specifications from outside. We have to write the specifications. We have to determine what is the future of this industry. We have to figure out what is the next big feature that should be launched? We are not going to copy, we're going to lead, right? And everyone says we are the best and the brightest, but does your customer pay you extra money? So we are also one of the most expensive in our industry, by the way. So we don't sell on price at all, which goes back to the quality and being the best. Second thing, which was very, very important for our industry, you know, आप पाकिस्तान में रहते हुए, you just become immune to breakages and outages. कोई प्रॉब्लम आ जाए ना, कोई मसला नहीं, ये तो होता है, हो जाता है जी। देखिए डेली लाइफ में 3 दफा बिजली जाती है, ट्रैफिक लाइट नहीं चल रही, चीजें टूटी हुई हैं, तो आपका जो माइंड सेट है ना, टॉलरेंस फॉर थिंग्स नॉट वर्किंग परफेक्टली, वो थोड़ी सी जरा ज्यादा हो जाती है। The industry we're in is zero defect, you know, you gotta be always available, गलती की chance नहीं है. That was the second big mindset change जो कि I2C में हमें अपनी टीम में build करना पड़ा. So initially I spent a lot more time in Pakistan with the team, और जो मेरी हर meeting में, interaction में, and I, you know, being engineer, I was deep down in the technical discussions also. You basically lead by example, and you don't you know, allow for any errors and so on. So वो बहुत helpful रहा. उसके बाद there is a tipping point in an organization. जब एक certain लोग 50+% लोग और senior लोग इस चीज को believe करना शुरू कर देते हैं, तो then you create a self-perpetuating engine. जो नए लोग आते हैं फिर वो उसी रंग में रंगे जाते हैं. So that was initially very, very difficult, but now it's part of the I2C culture. जो हमारे, you know, value system है, उसके अंदर integrity is number one. There is absolutely no way we will do anything which is, you know, not above board. And if we make a commitment to a customer, we will deliver on it. So integrity is number one. Second is innovation. And that's really for survival. How do you become a new player and get business and survive if you're going to do the same thing that the bigger players do? They will beat you on size, right? So innovation is our differentiation, innovation is our survival, and everyone thinks about, and I have told this team 50 times, and I'll share with your audience also. Read the book. Book को जरूर पढ़ें, लेकिन then chart your own path. You don't have to go by the book. बुक तो किसी ने अच्छी चीजें सोच के लिख दी, लेकिन वो तो एक जेनेरिक फॉर्मूला है ना. आपको उन सब को समझ के यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड कि बुक में जो कहा जा रहा है क्यों कहा जा रहा है, दूसरी किताब में कुछ और कहा जा रहा है. सो स्टार्ट थिंकिंग द व्हाई पीस एंड देन अंडरस्टैंड योर डोमेन, योर प्रॉब्लम, और अपना आप फॉर्मूला खुद निकालें. किताबों से सीखें जरूर, लेकिन उनको छापना इज नॉट द राइट वे. मे बी आप कहीं ना कहीं पहुंच जाएंगे, लेकिन इफ यू वांट टू बी द लीडर, लीडर को कोई पहले से रास्ता नहीं मिलता, लीडर ने तो खुद रास्ता निकालना होता है. सो अगर आपने अपनी इंडस्ट्री में लीडर बनना है, आपने कोई नई चीज, नया प्रोडक्ट लाना है, तो डोंट जस्ट गेट स्टक इन द बॉक्स, ट्राई टू फिगर आउट द न्यू पाथ, राइट? दैट्स आल्सो वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. थर्ड इज बीइंग ग्लोबल. हम सब ये बिलीव करते हैं कि अगर हम ग्लोबली I2C को और अपने काम को अच्छा करेंगे, तो इसमें हमारे मुल्क का नाम और ब्रांड के लिए अच्छा है, कंपनी को बहुत फायदा है, और कंपनी के बाद इंडिविजुअल्स को बहुत फायदा है. सो वी आर ऑल वेरी फोकस्ड ऑन अस बीइंग अ ग्लोबल ब्रांड. सिर्फ एक छोटे से पॉइंट में सक्सेसफुल हो जाना इज नॉट सक्सेस फॉर अस, राइट? बिकॉज हम थोड़ा एम्बिशन जो है वो डिफरेंट है. So being global is extremely important for us. उसके अलावा एक you know, हर कोई मुल्क में हम सब चेंज चाहते हैं, और बड़ा फ्रस्ट्रेटिंग चीज है, एक हुकूमत आती है, दूसरी आती है, चेंज चेंज चेंज, लेकिन पाकिस्तान आगे जा नहीं रहा. तो you know what we have really discussed and thought about is कि वो तो चेंज जो ग्लोबल लेवल पे, कंट्री लेवल पे होगा सो होगा, हमें अपने छोटे छोटे उसके अंदर चेंज करना चाहिए. और दैट स्टार्ट्स फ्रॉम द कंपनी प्रोवाइडिंग गुड benefits and environment to its team members. टीम मेंबर्स 4-5 घर वाले और इम्पैक्ट होते हैं. उसके बाद जो कम्युनिटी में अगर हम कोई सर्विस कर सकते हैं, और इट्स नॉट जस्ट अबाउट राइटिंग अ चेक, इट्स एक्चुअली पार्टिसिपेटिंग, जाके हेल्प करना. तो एक फाउंडेशन है जिसके थ्रू वी लाइक टू पार्टिसिपेट एंड हेल्प आउट इन द कम्युनिटी. टीम हैव रन, एक कमेटी है, वो खुद ही प्रोजेक्ट सेलेक्ट करते हैं, उनको सपोर्ट करते हैं. वी ऑल्सो ऑपरेट dispensary and other things. So उस एस्पेक्ट को भी हम जरूर इसमें रखना चाहते हैं. So एक सवाल का मैंने आपको बहुत लंबा जवाब दे दिया, but I think this is really
great,
really
Amir.
important.
This is the objective of this talk with you. It's not a structured interview. Trust me. We want to drive questions out of your thoughts and talks because we want to really take what's in there in Amir Wain, because mashallah, जैसे आपने baseline जो बड़ी अच्छी set की है, when if I look at i2c, mashallah, I see it as Mr. Bill Gates in the making, and probably Microsoft in the making in Pakistan. Amir, I would like to drive questions from what you have just said, and I'll appreciate if you please continue in the same
Sure.
fashion.
Sure.
Okay. From your talks, you beat the competition through innovation. Excellent. We understand that. And you were very innovative. But for this creative migration from doing thing A to B, then moving to C, what was a driving force? From where you got this inspiration? And what made you believe that you'll be able to do it? You migrated from mainly selling man hours to, keeping companies, hijacking them and putting them in your own castle,
Yeah. I think so. First of all, I want everyone, आपके जितने भी students सुन रहे हैं, कि there was a point when I would be one of them sitting there, and I'm sure many of the people who are listening will have very successful careers. So कोई इसमें कोई special चीज नहीं है. There's a lot of hard work, thinking, and so on, and this path, and I'm sure people will be a lot more successful, and I hope so, is open to all. कोई इसमें पैदा नहीं होता, कोई ऐसी चीज नहीं है कि आप जनाब वो हो गए. Luck या random events do play a part, लेकिन जो लोग successful ज्यादा होते हैं, वो luck से नहीं होते. वो ज्यादा lucky इसलिए होते हैं कि वो continuously opportunities create कर रहे होते हैं और right direction में जा रहे होते हैं, right? If you work hard and smart, you end up being luckier. So number one, I think everyone has the opportunity. All of us have the capabilities in us. जो चीज सबसे ज्यादा जरूरी है, और ये शायद थोड़ी philosophical जवाब हो जाए, I think that is being honest to yourself and absolutely no hypocrisy, right? अगर आप एक बिजनेस को, उसकी सिचुएशन को, अपनी प्रॉब्लम्स को रियलिस्टिकली देखें और उसको एक अच्छा करने की ना सोचें, तो आपको प्रॉब्लम्स जल्दी नजर आएंगी और आप उन प्रॉब्लम्स को सॉल्व कर पाएंगे, राइट? तो जो बिजनेस मॉडल की प्रॉब्लम है, अब अगर आप उस पर देखें, सॉफ्टवेयर इंडस्ट्री बड़े जी नए से नए प्रोजेक्ट आ रहे हैं, अभी वो रेलवे का इतने का आ गया, ये आ गया, आप उस चीज में फंस जाएं बगैर सोचने के, यार ये सॉफ्टवेयर का हमने प्रोजेक्ट तो किया, इतना टाइम लग गया, इतनी चेंज रिक्वेस्ट आई क्लाइंट की, ये नहीं होता, वो नहीं होता, इसमें क्या प्रॉब्लम है, मैं इसको कैसे बेहतर करूं? तो वो जो एक कंटिन्यूअस क्वेश्चनिंग एंड एनालाइजिंग के जो आप कर रहे हैं, उसकी अच्छी चीजें क्या हैं और उसकी बुरी चीजें क्या है, एंड बीइंग ऑनेस्ट अबाउट. फिर जो अच्छी चीजें हैं उनको आप रिटेन करने की कोशिश करें, जो बुरी चीजें हैं उनका कोई रिप्लेसमेंट या कोई सोल्यूशन सोचें, और ये प्रोसेस आपको कंटिन्यूअसली करना है. ये एक दफा अब मैंने कर लिया जी, मैंने इनोवेशन जो है ना, एक कंपनी वो में एक टीम बना दी इनोवेशन की, इनोवेशन का मसला हल हो गया. ऐसे तो नहीं हल होगा, वो हमें उसको कंटिन्यूअसली फीड करना पड़ेगा, रिकैलिब्रेट करना पड़ेगा, रिस्ट्रक्चर करना पड़ेगा. जो प्रोसेसेस हैं, टूल्स हैं, मेथोडोलॉजीज हैं, फ्रेमवर्क्स हैं, एजुकेशन है, वो सारी चीजें अपडेट करनी पड़ती है. सो इट्स अ कंटिन्यूअस प्रोसेस. आई थिंक स्टार्ट्स विद एन ऑनेस्ट assessment of your current state. be critical. Be critical. It's not being negative. It's just being very realistic कि मेरे मसले क्या हैं, मैंने उनको कैसे ठीक करना है. जब तक आइडेंटिफाई नहीं करेंगे प्रॉब्लम, आप उसको सॉल्व नहीं करेंगे. So हमने we clearly saw that there were many problems in the software development business. सबसे बड़ी प्रॉब्लम यह है कि एक आपको बड़ा प्रोजेक्ट मिल जाए ना, वो अच्छी बात भी है, बुरी बात भी है. अच्छी बात यह है कि चलो जी बिजनेस बढ़ रहा है, अब आपने लोग हायर कर लिए, लोगों ने दूसरी कंपनियां छोड़ के आपको ज्वाइन कर लिया, आपने थोड़े एक्स्ट्रा पैसे दे दिए, प्रोजेक्ट खत्म हो गया, आपने उनको निकाल दिया. हाउ कैन यू जस्ट, उनकी जिंदगी है, उन्होंने घर चलाने हैं, यू गॉट टू बी, आई कांट डू दैट, राइट. सो वो मसले आपको अपफ्रंट नजर आने चाहिए कि ये इस किस्म के मसले इस बिजनेस में हैं. उसके बाद हमने प्रोडक्ट वाज आवर सॉल्यूशन, वाज इट द बेस्ट आंसर? एट दैट टाइम दैट्स व्हाट वी थॉट वाज द बेस्ट आंसर. वी बिल्ट अ प्रोडक्ट. बट जब प्रोडक्ट के बिजनेस मॉडल में हमें प्रॉब्लम्स नजर आई कि क्लाइंट की साइड का एनवायरनमेंट के इश्यूज हैं, फिर हर साल सेल करनी पड़ती है, तो आप खुद ही सोचते हैं कि अच्छा यार फिर इसका क्या तरीका हो सकता है. तो फिर आप देखते भी हैं इंडस्ट्री में क्या हो रहा है, ट्रेंड्स कैसे हैं, मैं कहाँ जाऊं, तो आप अपना रास्ता निकालते रहते हैं. तो खालिद, आई वुड से इट्स नॉट अ वन टाइम थिंग, इट इज अ अप्रोच एंड अ प्रोसेस वेयर यू कंटिन्यूअसली काइंड ऑफ रियलिस्टिकली, नॉट बीइंग अ फूल, आप क्रिटिकली अपने आप को इवैल्यूएट करें, प्रॉब्लम्स को एक्सेप्ट करें और उनका सोल्यूशन ढूंढें.
Critique is the answer. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Great. I'm very grateful for your candid talks, Amir. Amir, okay, I've been able to understand your baseline thinking and your approach to business and towards other things, and objectivity and the culture you develop is the culture of an organization is true reflection of the leader's personality, and that's very visible in your organization. And congratulations to you for that. मुझे एक बहुत कैंडिडली एक आप बात बताएं कि you had all the passion and drive and conviction, and you had the right approach also. Mashallah, you succeeded well in your life. Okay, tell me, what gave you conviction that you can hit your head hard against this big giant standing in front of you? Because ये तो बड़ी छोटी इंडस्ट्री है जिसपे आप इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर पे बैकबोन में गए, and then with Pakistani background, these guys ended up trusting you कि earthquake है, बारिश है, तूफान है, you continue to deliver. What was your USP? How you managed to convince them? And how you managed to fight those rhinos out there in the field?
Sure. So बिल्कुल. तो आप वो बात आती है ना कि आप देखें कि जब एक कंपनी बहुत ह्यूज स्केल की हो जाती है, तो वो फिर उनका होता है कि दिस इज हाउ वी डू थिंग्स. वो एक रास्ता डिफाइन करते हैं अपने कस्टमर्स के लिए. अब मैं उनके कस्टमर्स देखूं तो कस्टमर्स हैं जो उन्हें $100 million a year का रेवेन्यू देते हैं, इस तरह करके 50 million, एंड दिस इज ईयरली रेवेन्यू फ्रॉम अ सिंगल कस्टमर. फिर $1 million पे आ गए एंड सो ऑन. तो अब जब उस कंपनी ने कोई अटेंशन देनी है या कोई रिक्वेस्ट है किसी की कि मुझे ये चाहिए, तो वो रिक्वेस्ट ऊपर के क्लाइंट्स को तो मिलती है, वो नीचे तक आती नहीं. तो जो क्वालिटी ऑफ सर्विस जो $5 million एंड बिलो पर ईयर के अकाउंट थे, उसमें इतनी अच्छी नहीं थी. So you have to think about कि मुझे कहाँ पे, exactly the way you're thinking कि कैसे होगा ये क्या. You have to understand the target market and figure out कि pain points क्या हैं, कौन सी सेगमेंट है जहां पे मुझे रिस्पॉन्स मिलेगा और मैंने उन्हें जाके क्या कहना है, राइट. उसके बाद ये नहीं है कि आप वहां से ग्रो नहीं कर सकते, बट यू हैव टू एस्टैब्लिश योर रेफरेंसेस, यू हैव टू एस्टैब्लिश योर क्रेडिबिलिटी, यू हैव टू एस्टैब्लिश योर प्रेजेंस. आज हम हैव द लार्जेस्ट प्रोग्राम इन द वर्ल्ड, जो लार्जेस्ट दुनिया का प्रीपेड प्रोग्राम है, वो यूएस गवर्नमेंट की सोशल सिक्योरिटी डिस्बर्समेंट का प्रोग्राम है. Now, if we had gone after it when we started, we weren't ready, we didn't have the credentials, we didn't have anything. लेकिन हमने ये नहीं कहा कि अगर हम पहले थोड़े जरा छोटे साइज के क्लाइंट्स को लें, उसके बाद credentials बनते जाएंगे, तो you keep going after bigger and bigger clients. So today, I mean, we are so happy and proud that the largest banks in the world come to I2C not just for flexibility, but for reliability. So we are more reliable than the big ones. Big ones कहते थे, we are reliable. Now we're beating them on reliability and we're beating them on flexibility. So in fact, I2C is growing extremely rapidly. And as I mentioned, we've just added 300 plus people in 2020 year. अभी जो कोविड के दौरान जो पिछले 6 महीनों के अंदर 300 लोग ऐड किए हमने. ओमाहा में भी हमने कोई 200 के करीब लोग ऐड किए हैं और 100 एक पाकिस्तान में, और अभी वी हैव अनदर 200-300 टू गो. अब वो स्टेज आ गई है कि I2C की ग्रोथ जो है वो बहुत ज्यादा accelerate कर रही है, and that's the benefit of the SaaS model. I don't have to hire another 5,000 people. Our revenue per person will continue to grow. We still need people, but not thousands to become, multi-billion-dollar revenue company.
I would like you have touched the point reliability. ठीक है, ये इंग्लिश का लफ्ज है, हम सबको तर्जुमा भी आता है. लेकिन I would like you to operationally define what exactly you mean when you use the word reliability. What does it really mean?
So reliability in our industry basically is measured by system availability. कि आपकी सिस्टम की अवेलेबिलिटी जो है ना, हाउ डू यू मेजर. जब आप कहते हैं जी रिलायबल, तो वो कहते हैं कि जी आपका यूनिट ऑफ मेजर क्या है, तो वो है सिस्टम अवेलेबिलिटी. कि जब ट्रांजैक्शन आई, क्या आपका सिस्टम उसको ऑथराइज करने के लिए अवेलेबल था कि नहीं. इंडस्ट्री में जो SLA है वो 99.9% है, जो कि अगर आप हिसाब लगाएं तो खासे ज्यादा घंटे सिस्टम आउटेज इन अ ईयर बन जाते हैं. We started out with 99.99% availability SLA, but जो हमारी actual delivery है वो 100% है. SLA is a contractual thing, वो आपको उसके बाद penalties होती हैं etc. But we were the first one to commit 4 nines of system availability. और ये देखें, hardware is only one layer. Hardware तो मैं redundant hardware लगा के, clusters लगा के I can offer 100% availability. But जब आप एक transaction processing system deliver कर रहे हैं तो उसके अंदर और बहुत ज्यादा components आ जाते हैं. हर transaction पे आपने fraud check भी करना है, उसके अंदर external APIs भी involve हो सकती हैं, बहुत ज्यादा components हैं, और it's a very complex technology stack. और उसको 100% करने के लिए configuration. In our business ये भी देखें ना कि configuration की वजह से outages आ सकती हैं. So maturity of the organization in terms of processes, controls, etc., is what drives availability.
Great. This is what I wanted to define so that people can understand. Reliability is availability as and when required, right?
Yes.
And it has to be 100%. And you beat through 0.09 percentage point, and you became Mr. Reliable. And great congratulations on that, right?
Thank
Amir,
you.
you have touched Omaha, right? We all know Omaha through Warren Buffett. And what made you move towards Omaha? And and I've heard you're making a big building there. You want to employ
yes
people there.
So we have moved.
What's the story? We are interested.
Yeah. So we were looking for setting up a service center, एक और I2C का office within the US. So our headquarters is in Silicon Valley, San Francisco area में. That's where I'm based. And we wanted another operation center. So we were looking at different cities. And Omaha के अंदर हमें 2-3 फायदे नजर आए. I went and visited all the cities, met the local government people who support and so on. So the governor of Omaha actually flew to San Francisco and had dinner with me, and made a very compelling case that Omaha would support the Silicon Valley company's growth in Omaha, and he wants it to be the Silicon Prairie and so on. And they offered us a lot of benefits. And when I went there, there is a lot of talent pool also. PayPal का office है वहाँ पे. एक हमारा major competitor है First Data, now Fiserv, उनका office है वहाँ पे. So we had people available with experience. The government was very supportive. और जब मैं ये cities के tours पे जा रहा था, तो I went out for dinner. तो हम डिनर कर रहे थे और बिल्कुल साथ के टेबल पे guess who walked in? It was Warren Buffett. He and his daughter and 6 other people. It's a small town, and there are not too many great restaurants. So he was right there the first time I went there, and very nice, simple man. And so for operational reasons, talent availability, for the support that and encouragement that we got through the local government were primarily the
Do you
reasons.
think Warren Buffett can make you an offer that you can't refuse?
I think there are other people other than Warren Buffett who are very interested. I don't think he would be a direct investor. His investment approach is different, but there are many other people. Obviously, Khalid, in our industry, the M&A is tremendous. It's very difficult to build assets like I2c, and if you think about what I2c can do for some of these larger companies, the valuations are astonishing at this point. So there are many interesting offers.
We have seen Jeff Bezos, because of COVID, everybody is getting on digital, and his wealth went up in one day, 13 billion pounds.
Yeah.
Crazy amount, right? And
yeah, exactly.
But probably you're the backbone. So this digital age should be a boon time for you.
It is. Actually, payments industry was ready for, COVID, because e-commerce was already in place, contactless payments, mobile payments, all of these initiatives were there. Normally what happens is that the new norm takes a little bit longer to become the new norm. The habits change over a long time. So COVID actually pushed the usage of digital payments and speeded that transformation. So it's been good for the payment industry. It's always, and then we have seen growth in our business.
Fintech is the winner out of, and God knows what next, because we have entered an era of low touch economy now, whereby we are so dependent upon all the automated systems through our mobiles that fintech, I think, and you are the backbone of the fintech. So
Exactly.
You have to grow, mashallah. It's a great news to see a strong Pakistani company getting stronger. And Warren Buffett has taken exit from the aviation. He's sitting on a lot of cash, but he has lost a lot of money also in the stock market. So probably,
But I would say this, Khalid, that I2c would not be here if it was not for the wonderful and strong team in Pakistan. Because it is very difficult. Infrastructure business है ना, so the amount of investment that you need for years, एक दिन में नहीं बनता ये platform, right? So अगर आपकी cost of engineering US basis में हो, so it's a extremely expensive, So the Pakistani team, number one, has worked extremely hard. And why? Because they are chasing that dream that is becoming a reality, that they will become number one in their industry, which is financial, processing. And there is more than money that drives people. You give them an objective and an opportunity to be part of something big, that will bring out more than any amount of money will. Obviously, people have real lives, they have to be paid and compensated. But जो दिल से जब कोई काम करता है ना, वो सिर्फ पैसे के लिए नहीं करता, उसमें they have to have some attachment to a higher purpose. And I'm so happy, or I feel like, कि अगर हम थोड़ा बहुत भी पाकिस्तान के ब्रांड इमेज के लिए इतनी नेगेटिविटी सुनते हैं, अगर कोई पाकिस्तान के लिए कोई भी अच्छी बात हम कर सकें, so that'll be a great contribution of the team and I2c to that cause.
I mean, just to drive person out of your recent talks, can you tell me what's your higher purpose and what you're aiming at? Do you want to follow Elon Musk, go to Mars or beyond? I'd like to have a candid comment from you.
Yeah, it's a question that has been asked for centuries, and it's kind of a difficult question to get a great answer with. और मैं ये पहले अभी नहीं सोच रहा, मैं कॉलेज के दिनों में भी ये सवाल आता था कि what's the purpose of my life and what should I be doing? And I've really kind of boiled it down to if I can leave things in a better place than I inherited, then I have done my contribution in an ongoing process. Right? There is no end. I can't have a goal that once I check the box, then अगले दिन मैं क्या करूँगा ज़िंदगी में? I'll be completely lost. Right? So my goal is really to continuously try to leave the world with more than what I inherited. And I don't mean money-wise. I mean, in terms of
the social contribution.
Social contribution, capabilities. अगर आप कोई नई चीज create कर देते हैं that is good for payments industry or whatever, just जो आपको मिला है अगर आप उससे चीजों को अच्छी हालत में छोड़ जाएं, तो that probably will continue to give you purpose.
Great. I would like to invite Sarah here. Sarah, I hope your electricity, everything is fine. She's our VUCA queen. We call her VUCA queen. This is vulnerable, uncertain, complex, ambiguous times. And she has a question. Probably, I think it's the right time she can enter it and ask if she want to.
Sure.
Sarah, are you there?
Yeah, actually, I wanted to ask a question because there was a point whereby Amir said that we really need to do something to promote a positive image of Pakistan internationally. So I wanted to raise this question at that point, but definitely couldn't interrupt. So my question to you, Amir, is related to that particular tangent. That as we mentioned that we are running as an institution at UMT, we're running a think tank called Innovation Capital Development Forum, ICDF. Which is an initiative of national interest, whereby we are trying to promote the culture of research of consequence and open innovation through the collaboration of all the key stakeholders, including industry, academia, government, and student body. So when we see at the Pakistan's ranking at the critical indices like Global Innovation Index, Global Competitiveness Index, Global Happiness Index, Knowledge Index, and likewise, we somehow see Pakistan somewhere very close to the bottom. So, and as you truly mentioned that we all have that somehow that desire and passion within ourselves to really project and promote a positive image of Pakistan. So, what do you think that what should we do to take Pakistan from factor-driven to innovation-driven idea economy? Because, excuse me, the emerging economies, which are idea economies, they're way ahead of us in terms of business sophistication, in terms of their capability to innovate and collaborate. So I need your take on it and your thoughts and opinions that, in your opinion, what do we actually need to do to really convert Pakistan from a blacksmith economy to an e-smith economy?
Right. I think we should not expect the government to do anything. I think that's one thing. Like if we think कि government कुछ करेगी तो वो probably मुश्किल है. We should figure out how can we make a little dent. Or जो current, with the ability to work from anywhere, rather than your geography, your intellect is more important now. You have access. और जो एक प्रॉब्लम पाकिस्तान के साथ रही है ना, वो ability to sell. हमारी sales और marketing की capabilities in our country are very, very basic. When software company से पूछे क्या है जी, हम जावा आपको $15 पे कर देंगे और $14 पे कर देंगे. But they don't understand that if someone is doing a $50 million project, they really don't care whether it's $14 or $20 or $30. उनके लिए रिलायबिलिटी, उनको खौफ यह है कि पाकिस्तान में कल कोई होगा नहीं होगा, मेरा डेटा पब्लिक में चला जाएगा, आप उन्हें कह रहे हैं कि नहीं मैं वो 20 का दे रहा मैं 14 का दे दूंगा, तो यू आर नॉट टॉकिंग द राइट लैंग्वेज, राइट? सो वो प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व इस तरह हो गई है कि अब आप बहुत सी सेलिंग जो है ना थ्रू दीज इलेक्ट्रॉनिक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन चैनल, सो ऐप स्टोर्स, आप एक अच्छी ऐप लिखते हैं तो अगर आज से हम ऐप स्टोर से पहले वाले दिनों में चले जाएं तो आपको फिर भी सेल्स एंड मार्केटिंग एंड डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन ऑर्गेनाइजेशन बिल्ड करनी पड़नी थी. तो इसने इंडिविजुअल्स के लिए ये बड़ा आसान कर दिया है कि आप अपनी आईपी पे फोकस करें और आप ये डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन और ये सेल्स के चैनल्स को इस्तेमाल करें टू डिस्ट्रीब्यूट. सो आई थिंक encouraging people कि वो जो है ना नंबर 2 काम करने की कोशिश ना करें. Don't try to be number 2. At least your goal should be I want to be the best in this space. मैं जो भी काम करूं, नहीं वो तो इलेक्ट्रॉनिक आर्ट्स जैसा तो मैं कर ही नहीं सकता. अगर आप उस माइंडसेट से शुरू करेंगे ना, तो मे बी कोई अच्छी अपॉर्चुनिटीज हो मेरी समझ में नहीं आती. मेरा माइंड जो है वो जरा I'd rather be on the leading side than just try to be averages. So I would say do it on an individual level. Encourage people to focus on being successful individually, and then those individuals collectively will become Pakistan's success. देखिए इन इंडस्ट्रीज के पीछे हम जाएंगे ना तो हम कभी भी सक्सेसफुल नहीं होंगे. हम अपना अपना छोटा छोटा काम करें ना तो इंडस्ट्रीज विल कैच अप विद अस. They will figure out कि यार ये पाकिस्तान तो बहुत अब you know वो हो गया है, इसमें ये हो रहा है, ऐसा हो रहा है. So लोगों को एक और जो हमारे यूथ को थोड़ी जरूरत है आई थिंक which is जिसकी मुझे नजर आती है कि जो कोचिंग और ट्रेनिंग कम है वो बिजनेस सेंस की है. तो एक तो सेल्स एंड मार्केटिंग है ना कि आपने कैसे अपने आइडिया को अपने प्रोडक्ट को प्रेजेंट करना है, वो एक वीकनेस है. टेक्निकली काम फिर भी अच्छा कर लेते हैं. दूसरी चीज बिजनेस की गाइडेंस जो है ना, क्योंकि देखिए माइक्रोसॉफ्ट का प्रोडक्ट जो है वो लाजमी नहीं कि बेस्ट था दूसरी स्प्रेडशीट से या सो ऑन, बट माइक्रोसॉफ्ट ने बिजनेस ऐसा किया कि उन्होंने छोटी मोटी कंपनीज को आने नहीं दिया. सो यू ऑल्सो हैव टू थिंक अबाउट कि मेरा जो बिजनेस अप्रोच है उसकी कोचिंग भी अगर आप कुछ लोगों को करें कि हाउ टू थिंक अबाउट अ बिजनेस. जिस तरह खालिद कह रहे थे कि आपकी क्या यूनिक सेलिंग पॉइंट्स हैं, क्या डिफरेंशिएशन है, ये सवाल उन लोगों को करने चाहिए अपने आप से कि ये जो मैं बना रहा हूँ ये कोई क्यों खरीदेगा, इसका क्या बेनिफिट है, उसकी क्या प्रॉब्लम है कस्टमर की जो मैं सॉल्व कर रहा हूँ. सो इन समरी आई थिंक जो एरियाज जिनमें हेल्प की जा सकती है वो एक बिजनेस अप्रोच, सेल्स एंड मार्केटिंग, एंड आई वुड इवन से product management, determining where the product needs to go and direction of that sort. Coding technology, वो बड़ा efficient code भी लिख लेंगे, that we have the brain power and अच्छे लोग हैं हमारे पास.
Great. Sarah, do you have a follow-up question on this?
Yeah, I do have a follow-up question, and it's more relevant to the current situation. Because if you remember, the findings of the predictive analysis and research by the reliable sources were more indicative of the arrival of a major disruption in the shape of VUCA, by 2030. Whereby, critical statistics were shared like that 2 billion jobs will disappear by 2030, 75% of the companies will disappear, by 2025. And the most interesting one was that 85% of the jobs or careers that will be needed after 2025 have not been discovered yet. But somehow we were quite clueless that, that disruption is just around the corner. And instead of 2030, we are going to be hit by this disruption in the shape of COVID-19 in 2020. And this scenario somehow has created a lot of confusion and fear in the minds and hearts of students, the future leaders. And they seem and they look more skeptical, about their day of graduation because they're seeing it converting into the day of obsolescence. So I need your take on it. That what do you think? What is your advice? What students or future leaders should follow to remain competitive and to emerge? No matter the situation is, no matter the choppy waters are. So what is your advice to the students to emerge as a winner in these times? And we work on talent deficit reduction management. So I'm asking this question in that connotation.
So एक चीज तो ये है कि देखें, this is not unique. COVID जो है ना, I see it as change. COVID is a little bit more dramatic than other changes. Lekin if you look at the timelines have shrunk globally. Product life cycles have really shrunk. पहले 3-4 साल product life cycle था, अब साल में product के नए cycles आ रहे हैं. Astonishing numbers. अगर आप businesses की longevity, like let's say कि New York Stock Exchange पे 33% of the businesses will die within the first 5 years of their life.
Exactly.
Right? So the timelines have been compressed so much. So one has to figure out कि COVID हो या कोई और चीज हो, मुझे क्या मेरी core competence develop करनी चाहिए कि no matter what I am faced with, I'm able to deal with it. And one of the answers is agility. अगर आप agility को अपनी core competence बना लेंगे, तो फिर क्या होगा कि जो भी कोई change आएगा, if you can be the first one to adapt to it, you will beat your competition. लेकिन जब वो दो दोस्त जंगल में थे और एक शेर आया और उसने वो अपने स्नीकर्स पहनने शुरू कर दिए, तो उसने दूसरे से कहा कि भाई तुम क्या समझते हो, भाग जाओगे? उसने कहा मैं तो सिर्फ तुम्हारे से ज्यादा दूर भागना है ना, शेर ने तो एक ही को पकड़ना है. So बात यह है कि अगर आप एजिलिटी लाते हैं और आप अपने कंपटीशन से ज्यादा जल्दी चेंज कर सकते हैं, तो आप सर्वाइव करेंगे. तो एजिलिटी को अपनी एक कोर कॉम्पिटेंस ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में, इंडिविजुअली, इन योर प्रोसेसेस, इन योर थिंकिंग. दैट मीन्स कि ओके, लेट्स मेक अ 3-year बिजनेस प्लान. इट्स अ वेस्ट ऑफ टाइम. 3 years इज एन एटर्निटी. हु नोस कि क्या होगा. आप अपने बिजनेस प्लान को क्वार्टरली रिवीजन करें, मंथली रिवीजन करें, देखें उसको. और इसका ये मतलब नहीं होता कि अभी आप इस नॉर्थ में जा रहे हैं फिर आप साउथ में जा रहे हैं. इतने ड्रामेटिक चेंजेस भी अगर आप करते रहेंगे तो कोई डायरेक्शन नहीं होगी. लेकिन एक कंटिन्यूअस ट्वीकिंग जो है ना, क्योंकि 1 डिग्री का डायरेक्शन का फर्क, अगर आप तेज भाग रहे हैं तो वो थोड़े से डिस्टेंस में बहुत ज्यादा फर्क हो जाता है. सो इट्स दैट माइंडसेट चेंज, दैट एजिलिटी एंड थिंकिंग. जब भी मैं कोई काम करूं, मैं उसको कैसे ज्यादा एजिलिटी के साथ कर सकता हूं, आई थिंक इज द बेस्ट आंसर. एक्सेप्ट दैट फ्यूचर इज अनप्रेडिक्टेबल. यू शुड एक्सेप्ट दैट एज अ रियलिटी. दूसरी चीज यह है कि फियर जो है ना, फियर को निकाल दो. Because fear will paralyze you, will freeze you. So खालिद, आपने भी कई सवाल पूछे कि वो कैसे आप उनको टेक ओवर करेंगे और so on. तो दूसरी चीज है ना, I sometimes like to just think of the worst possible scenario. कि अगर चलो ये बिजनेस कर रहे हैं, ये इन्वेस्टमेंट हो रही है, सब कुछ हो रहा है, क्या हो जाएगा? सब तबाह हो जाएगा, खत्म हो जाएगा. क्या मैं भूखा मर जाऊंगा? क्या मैं फिर कोई नौकरी ले सकता हूँ? Once you get comfortable with the worst possible outcome ना, तो जो आपके एक दिमाग में फियर और जो एक वो खौफ वो निकल जाए ना, तो फिर आप जरा अच्छे फ्रीली काम कर सकते हैं. तो अपने जहन से खौफ को निकाल देना का मतलब ये नहीं है कि बी स्टूपिड, डोंट थिंक अबाउट इट. नजर आ रहा है कि प्रॉब्लम है और नहीं, मैं जंप मार के मैं तो निकल जाऊंगा, मैं ये नहीं कह रहा. लेकिन गेट यूज्ड टू द वर्स्ट पॉसिबल आउटकम and then be confident. Yeah, I'm going to make it successful and devote yourself to it.
Great, Amir. I think you have said it well. एक बात बताएं जो आपने भी बातें की हैं. No book can teach you all this, candidly speaking. बहुत लोगों ने बहुत कुछ लिखा, but it's so philosophical, you can't even relate to it. When we are talking to you, we see you as a total story personified. A person is sitting in front of you saying it all, that he has applied all this in his life and this is where he is today. Yeah, आप मुझे बताओ कि how important is to have a mentor in life during your academic journey?
देखिए, I think you should always know कि आपको सब कुछ नहीं पता, और बहुत से लोगों ने बहुत अच्छी चीजें की हैं और उनसे सीखना समझना आपको एक शॉर्टकट प्रोवाइड कर सकता है. But it doesn't have to be one, right? कभी कोई, it is about openness and listening to people and trying to understand what they're saying rather than पहले impression पे उनको discount कर देना, या वो जो भी कह रहे हैं, कोई बड़ा successful आदमी है, मैंने कुछ कह दिया, अगर आपको वो नई sense बात कर रही कि ये बात सही नहीं है, तो don't accept it. Try to actually पर्सनालिटी की बजाय जो कंटेंट है वो आपको अपील कितना करता है. इट कुड बी अ किड हु कुड बी अ मेंटर फॉर मी. वो कोई एक ऐसी बात कर सकते हैं कि जिसको मुझे एक तरह से आई ओपनिंग हो. तो आई मीन देयर आर लॉट ऑफ गुड पीपल दैट obviously I have interacted and learned from, but there are employees, students, team members that I learn from. So I think mentorship at the end of the day is your openness, willingness and eagerness to learn. जब भी कोई बात कर रहा है, आप उसको
एक्सेप्ट उसके स्टेटस, साइज, कलर एक्सेट्रा उस पे ना करें, बल्कि उस बात के मेरिट पे उसको सोचें और समझें और उससे सीखने की कोशिश करें। एंड आई थिंक दैट इज ट्रू। अदरवाइज अगर कोई बहुत भी अच्छा आपको बंदा बातें बता रहा है ना, और आपने सिर्फ इसलिए एक्सेप्ट कर ली कि वो अच्छा बंदा है और वो मुझे बता रहा है और वो सक्सेसफुल है, आपने उसकी वजह नहीं समझी कि वो क्यों, वो जो बात कर रहा है उसकी वजह क्या है। तो
True.
बात तो यह है कि आपने वजह समझनी है कि वो क्यों क्या कह रहा है।
एक्चुअली जनरेशन, अब जो मिलेनियल्स और जनरेशन जी है ना, ये जैसे आपने कहा ना, आप यू शुड हैव द एपेटाइट एंड डिजायर, तो वो उसको कई दफा दे टेक इट फॉर ग्रांटेड, बट इफ समबडी टेल्स देम यार इट्स इंपॉर्टेंट, कम ऑन, तो फिर थोड़ा सा सीरियस भी हो जाते हैं। दैट वाज ऑब्जेक्टिव। आमिर,
Khalid, pardon me, I think अगर मैं 10-15 तक इसको conclude कर सकूं, I've got
just 3 questions.
Sure.
And that's it.
Okay, thank you.
One thing is, you have migrated from one business model to the second to the third. What is your next?
So, I mean, देखिए, we are continuously questioning कि इसमें हमारा, और हमने छोटी मोटी changes की हैं. Innovation of business model, innovation in pricing. Innovation comes in many different forms. Like अगर वो जो Nespresso है या HP का जो ink cartridge printer है, वो देखें, वो innovation जो है वो actually pricing की innovation है. अब Nespresso को वो सिर्फ मशीन बेचने के पैसे नहीं मिलते, उन्होंने एक तरह से recurring revenue वो लगा लिया. So continuously we are tweaking our services, our products, and so on. So there is a continuous innovation going on. This is a very successful model. We are very focused on growth and scale at this point. हमें कोई ऐसी problem नजर नहीं आ रही कि जो बहुत हमें dramatic इस वक्त change करने की जरूरत है. This may change in 2 years.
Acha, I mean, what sort of disruption do you foresee in your industry?
देखिए, disruption जो है वो जो इतनी असल में ये पेमेंट इंडस्ट्री में डिस्ट्रप्शन की बजाय एवोल्यूशन ज्यादा होती है, और उसकी वजह यह है कि नो वन वांट्स टू सी देयर मनी डिस्ट्रप्टेड, राइट? सो वो बैंक्स और वो सारे इंस्टीट्यूशंस थोड़ा थोड़ा चीज को कंट्रोल्ड एनवायरनमेंट में रिलीज करते हैं, बट बीइंग एबल टू यूज एप्पल पे, दीज थिंग्स आर ऑल यूजर एक्सपीरियंस रिलेटेड चेंजेस. और जो रियल डिस्ट्रप्शन है वो ये है कि पेमेंट जो है ना, घर से कोई ये नहीं निकलता कि जी मैंने जाके पेमेंट करनी है. वो तो कोई चीज लेने के लिए जा रहे हैं, कोई मूवी देखने जा रहे हैं. तो पेमेंट्स को हम जितना इनविजिबल बना देंगे, फोकस जो है वो यूजर एक्सपीरियंस पे है. हाउ डज इट बिकम ईजियर फॉर द यूजर? और देखिए, उबर इज सच ए ग्रेट एग्जांपल. आप में से किसी ने अगर ये उबर वगैरह इस्तेमाल किया है, तो आप तो अपना कार कॉल करते हैं, वो अंडरलाइंग पेमेंट इनविजिबल है, वो हो रही है, राइट? सो जितना पेमेंट को हम फ्रिक्शनलेस और इनविजिबल बना सकेंगे, दैट्स वन एरिया जो कि इस वक्त पेमेंट्स में बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट है. दूसरा है कॉन्टेक्चुअल, कि हाउ कैन आई, जो भी मैं आपको इंफॉर्मेशन दूं, कोई ऑफर डिस्काउंट की दूं, वो आपसे स्पेसिफिक हो, आप जहां हैं उससे स्पेसिफिक हो, जो आप करना चाह रहे हैं उससे स्पेसिफिक हो. सो हाउ डू आई मेक पेमेंट्स मोर कॉन्टेक्चुअल, right? So those are two major areas जहाँ पे काम हो रहा है. And obviously about security is an ongoing innovation area in payments.
अच्छा Amir, there are 2-3 questions from students also जो हमने reduce कर दिए हैं, respecting your time. I'll just request you कि 5-7 मिनट हमें आप दे दें. Just a quick, देखो, our relationship with money is going to change. We all know it. And money as a store of value, money as a medium of exchange. ये दोनों चीजें जो है ना, they are getting converted into some digital format. And through digital marketing, we know कि time and space, किस वक्त price discount करनी है, किस वक्त up करनी है. It's all data based. How credible data you have, and then you can make your marketing plans and your, pricing plans. Even they have to be the perpetual. There is no fixed price. It changes from second to second depending upon what's the footfall in some place. अच्छा, अगर हम आगे चलते हैं, तो we are seeing emergence of cryptocurrencies. So any plans i2c getting into crypto, because already you have a serious blockchain connection already there?
Yeah, no, we have a lot of customers who are using our platform for crypto programs. क्रिप्टो जो है ना वो what our clients are doing is exchange between crypto and let's say Visa or Mastercard. So मैं क्रिप्टो एक गैस स्टेशन पे नहीं इस्तेमाल कर सकता, मैं क्रिप्टो से कॉफी नहीं खरीद सकता, मैं क्रिप्टो रियल लाइफ में बहुत जगह इस्तेमाल नहीं कर सकता. तो अगर मेरे पास क्रिप्टो है, how do I make it useful while crypto acceptance grows in the world? So we have many customers around the globe that are offering that. Okay, crypto at the end of the day, you know, there is no problem in electronic money. Crypto की जरूरत नहीं है. No government wants anonymity and untraceability of money. That goes against the governance principles. It's not about technology. It's not about कुछ चीजें होती हैं कि they are trying to solve a problem that does not exist. Digital currency is different than crypto, right? So अगर आप एक digital currency की बात कर रहे हैं, तो वो obviously there are Nordic countries that have gone 100% digital, but it's regulated, it's controlled, it's traceable, and so on. जो ये Bitcoin, I didn't realize if you were talking about Bitcoin or
yeah, Bitcoin's correct. Yeah.
So Bitcoin जो है ना वो तो देखें जितनी illegal internet पे चीजें हो रही हैं सारा कुछ, तो क्या money movement एक country से दूसरी जगह एंटी मनी लॉन्ड्रिंग लॉज वगैरह सारे, ये नहीं कि टेक्नोलॉजी की वजह से बैंक जो है वो पैसे इमीडिएटली नहीं भेज सकता या $30 लेता है वायर ट्रांसफर के, टेक्नोलॉजी इशू नहीं है. सो क्रिप्टो इज रियली नॉट सॉल्विंग अ प्रॉब्लम. द गवर्नमेंट्स वोंट अलाउ दिस अनरेगुलेटेड एनोनिमस एक्सचेंज ऑफ मनी because it violates a lot of other issues.
Great. Thank you, Amir. Just last question from my side.
Sure.
I know you're a busy person. Amir, देखो डिजिटल एज आ रही है आगे एंड इट्स टेक्नोलॉजी की एज है, डिजिटल की एज है, एंड वी ऑल नो दैट इट्स ऑल टेक्नोलॉजी. तो मेरे पास पैसे हैं, जाके मैं खरीद दूंगा 4 मशीनें, क्लाउड के ऊपर कर दूंगा ये वो, बट देन यू नीड अ मैन हु इज ट्रेन्ड एंड ट्रेनेबल and to run this. So digitization is more about, you know, human intelligence and development, right?
Absolutely.
So उस पे just one thought to be shared with you, then I'll leave it to Sarah कि बच्चों के सवाल ले लें and then we'll close the session inshallah.
Okay.
We are commencing a program जैसे अमेरिका में या कनाडा में होता है, cooperative education co-op program, जहाँ पे we are asking students कि 3 साल यहाँ पढ़ो, 1 साल इंडस्ट्री में काम करो, सीखो समझो और वापस आओ, 1 साल फिर यहाँ पे डिग्री कंप्लीट करो, और उससे क्या होगा कि उसी कंपनी पे रिसर्च करो, फाइनल ईयर प्रोजेक्ट्स उसी कंपनी पे करो, और उस कंपनी को अगर कोई प्रॉब्लम तुम्हें नजर आती है, यू हैव 200 प्रोफेसर्स अवेलेबल जिसमें 150 PhDs, दे फॉरेन क्वालिफाइड विद अस, टेक देम इनटू कॉन्फिडेंस, उस प्रॉब्लम को सॉल्व करो, एंड बाय द टाइम यू ग्रेजुएट यू ऑलरेडी हैव एक्सपीरियंस, यू विल बी गोइंग एंड जॉइनिंग अ कंपनी, और वो कंपनी को भी देयर इज नो ट्रेनिंग टाइम, देयर इज नो ट्रेनिंग कॉस्ट, देयर इज नो डाउन टाइम, यू नो द कल्चर, you know the people, and company has evaluated you already for 1 year, and they have scanned you and they know what best use you can put. So इस तरह हम एक plan सोच रहे हैं. तो I like to have your thoughts on it. Is a good idea, bad idea? If good, then would you be interested if you send you a proposal? तो उसमें
Sure. I think it's great. देखें जब स्टूडेंट्स, जब मुझे भी याद है क्लास में बैठे होते थे, तो लकीली यूएस के अंदर थोड़ा सा टीचिंग का मेथड ऐसा है कि आप प्रॉब्लम को रियल लाइफ की टर्म में डिफाइन करते हैं, और फिर आप एक कैलकुलस का फॉर्मूला नहीं लगा रहे, आप रियल लाइफ की प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व कर रहे हैं. सो जो हम स्कूल में सीख रहे हैं, कॉलेज में, यूनिवर्सिटी में, अगर हमें समझ आए कि वो रियल लाइफ में कैसे अप्लाई होना है, क्या प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करनी है, तो वो स्टूडेंट्स के लिए बहुत अच्छा है. सो आई थिंक दिस वुड बी अ ग्रेट प्रोग्राम. और अगर आप जर्मनी में देखें तो वहाँ इंटर्नशिप जो है एक तरह से लाजमी है, और उनके स्टूडेंट्स इंजीनियरिंग और टेक्निकल बहुत अच्छे होते हैं. तो ये आप जरूर करें, and I2C would love to be part of that program.
I will send you my proposal inshallah on that. Okay. Or after Eid inshallah we'll send you our proposal. उसके ऊपर you can tell us whom to contact here in Pakistan, or we can email it to you. No problem.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Amir. I'm very grateful. अब बस हम अब formalities पे जा रहे हैं, closing side पे. So Sarah, over to you.
We actually receive a lot of questions from the student fraternity, but respecting definitely your time. I'm going to ask the one I believe has more common areas and will be more beneficial to the larger audience. So students have asked a question because they really look up to I2c Incorporated as, their dream employer. So the question which is being asked is that, what killing factor an applicant or a student or a graduate should have within him or her, what qualities or attributes they should have within them, that when they apply in I2c Incorporated, then, I2c, say them that thank you for applying, and instead of applicant, looking for, the opportunity to talk about and negotiate about the salary package, I2c asks them that what would you like to take to join us and to work with us?
No, I think we would always thank people for applying to I2C. So that is always the case. We appreciate anyone showing interest in being part of I2C. और जो selection है ना, वो it's not a statement about a person's capability, but suitability. होता यह है कि एक कंपनी को एक किस्म के लोग चाहिए होते हैं, एक certain requirement होती है, तो it is about the suitability, not the capability. Obviously, कुछ लोग किसी और चीज के लिए अच्छे हो सकते हैं. So if you don't get accepted, it does not mean you're not a bright student, or you're not good, or you're not smart. So a lot of times, very smart people are there, but हमें किसी और चीज की जरूरत होती है. So it's difficult for answer, with one answer. It depends on the position that we're looking at. But please apply, and we would love to have people जो कि best काम करना चाहते हैं, जिनको pride of authorship हो, वो अपने काम से फख्र हो उनको. That's really the type of people
we will give you what you need through co-op program, inshallah. This is
Okay.
done thing.
Okay.
Yeah. Please, you happen to meet Warren Buffett again. Give him my regards.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Very
Amir.
good gesture. Eid Mubarak to all of you in advance, and I appreciate your time.
Thank you very much, Ahmed. Thank you for getting
Khuda Hafiz.